Hey, how's it going? I'm Brian Johnson. I'm here with Joe Toon, the director of the current hit at SCT, Grease. And so, Joe, tell me, how's it going? you gotta love that review, right?
Oh yeah, the review is great. Couldn't have expected anything better than that. That's a dream for a first-time director.
Darn right. They just continue to praise you throughout the whole thing. And you've got a dynamite cast.
That I do.
You know, we've all known Grease over the years, and you've really made this one different, but original. Could you explain?
Well, looking at the movie, you were able to see all of the stuff that they did to clean up Grease. Grease was written in the 70s, basically, and right after Hair, so they wanted that gritty edge that Hair had. So they took, instead of taking the 60s, they took the 50s and tried to make it gritty and edgy. So I went back to the original script that did that and put all the bad words back in, put all the bad jokes in.
So now, when I go to see Grease, I can expect something completely different than that bubblegum show with Travolta and Olivia Newton-John.
Right, that's exactly what I was going for.
And, well, that's great. Because, yeah, I mean, I've seen Grease, I've seen a number of productions of it, but I haven't seen it in its true form. The original, the original way that the writer had intended. And you've got a dynamite cast. What's it like being a director with a cast that you've got?
Oh, I couldn't ask for a better cast. They love each other. Basically, it's a show about going together and being friendships and all that. And they do. They hang out all the time. They have a good time together. They
like the cast. Just like it's almost the reality is mimicking what you've got going on stage. Yeah. And your choreographer, Tara Farrand.
I couldn't have asked for better. Tara's choreography makes the show. There's so much that she took, and we met for coffee one day, and it was like, hey, how raunchy can I get with this? She asked me, and I go, how raunchy can you be? So it's basically,
really,
if you go too far to get over the PG-13, I'll tell you, but otherwise, let's keep going.
You're pushing the limits at R.
Yeah, we pushed the limits to make it where we didn't go over to the R. We're still PG-13, but barely.
Wow. This sounds like a lot of fun. Musical director Jim Coleman.
Of course, you couldn't ask for another musical director. He can bring something out of anyone's voice to make them sound great.
What is it that you want them to look for when they come and see this show?
I want them to be surprised. I want them to not feel like they're seeing a show they've seen over and over again. I want them to feel like it's a new show. Completely new. It just happens to have those numbers that I remember from my childhood watching Grease the movie.
Yeah.
And there's actually new numbers because, of course, if they only know the movie, they don't know the numbers that were changed.
Oh, there was numbers that weren't in the...
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers that aren't in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot to look forward to.
Yes.
Awesome. How has it been putting together your own team, finding yourself a designer, finding yourself a lighting person, putting together all of the other elements that go into putting on a production before you even cast it?
I will say, because it's Grease, it was a challenge. There's those that only think of the movie, and therefore they're like, I don't really care for Grease, so I'd rather not do it. Or there, of course, time commitments. Some people just couldn't put in the time right now, or the money that was required of them. So it took me a while to find the team that I have. But I couldn't ask for a different costumer than Elsa Fulton. She's once again done another wonderful job on the costuming.
Yeah.
She's done her best at making sure that everything is true to 50s and true to the show. And then we've got Terry Smith has done a wonderful set. Basically, I asked for minimalist. He gave me as close to minimalist as he could, with still giving me the scenery that I needed to bring the story across.
Cool. You had Carol Berry out there doing some painting.
Carol Berry's wonderful. Could not ask for a better scenic artist.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff she did, I was like, how did you make paint look like an actual cushion? It's just paint.
Yeah, she's great.
But she's done a wonderful job. Terry's done another wonderful lighting job. There's one scene in it that is just like my favorite moment. It's something that I thought up in my head, but it took Terry and Tara to come together to make it truly happen. Because it's one of those moments that it's lights and dance, and that's all it is.
Well, I'm going to be looking forward to that. And you know, when I am sitting in the audience and I see that scene, I'm going to say, that's the one that Joe was talking about. That's awesome. What about the challenges of going from being an actor to being the man with the answers, the one leading the whole charge, the director.
Problem is the moments where you don't know the answer, where you think you know it, and then they come up with that question that you're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Let's see. Give me a few minutes. Here it is. And then I give them the answer. Because, I mean, you can only prepare so far, and then the actors come up with their own questions, and it's, oh, that's right, that's needed. But I will say I was very happy. I got complimented by my actors in the fact that they feel I'm a actor's director. I direct a way an actor wants to be directed, where I give a lot more freedom and just pull back when I have to. So I gave them a lot of freedom to create.
You just let them go all out, and if they went too far, then you reeled them back in a little bit, just to keep it under the R rating.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of times that it ended up having to be, yeah, you can't say that. I know it's an ad-lib, and I know I told you to ad-lib, but you can't say that.
Oh, so we have some surprises.
Oh,
there's not script for script, word for word from the script. It's, you went
basically,
with emotion.
There's lines of script for script, perfect what they're supposed to be. However, there's a lot of times in the show that you had to fit. Like, music is playing and they're just supposed to be dancing and having a good time. There's no lines, so if you just let them just dance, it would be boring, so you had to let them create the moments.
Wow, okay.
To fill the space.
So this is a completely new and completely old production of Grease.
Exactly. They had to, I mean, the way the script was originally written was it was written as a character study. It was written for an actor to come up, pick up the script and go, I could probably do this with that character. And they wouldn't be wrong. They could do it, and it would probably work. It was just for them to create a character based on what they read. Yeah. And just tell the stories of the 50s and have dialogue that gave memories of the 50s, but the characters could be played by anyone.
And as I come to understand it, it's a lot, as you put it, it's more raw.
Yeah, it's a raw show. Yeah, it's a lot more basically bare bones, just come out and do the show. It's not finesse, it's not a show about making sure every moment's pretty, it's not...
Right, you're hitting gangs, teenage pregnancy, and you're not messing around with it.
You just hit them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I've told them is, you can't make light of it, you just have to go. You just have to do it, and that's what makes the show. The show is about those things. It's about love. It's about fear of pregnancy. It's about gangs.
About fitting in.
About fitting in.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Joe. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Grease runs at Stockton Civic Theater through September 30th. You can call the box office at 209-473-2424 for tickets, or you can go to sctlivetheater.com and buy your tickets that way. Don't miss Grease. Thanks again, Joe.
Thank you.
Take care.